You have $1 trillion, but only 7 days to spend it. You wake up and check your banking app like every morning. Instead of your normal balance, you see exactly $1 trillion in your account. At first, you think it's a glitch. You refresh the app again and again, but the number never changes. You even restart your phone because there's no way this can be real. Just before giving up, your phone starts ringing from an unknown number. You answer, and a mysterious voice says, "Congratulations, you've been selected for a challenge." Before you can respond, the caller explains the rules. You have exactly 7 days to spend every dollar in your account. If even $1 remains when the timer reaches zero, you'll lose everything. Good luck. The call immediately disconnects. Chapter 1. Spending. The first billion. At first, this doesn't sound like a challenge. You have $1 trillion, and all you need to do is spend it. How hard could that be? You jump into your car and drive to the most expensive real estate agency you can find. If you're spending money, you might as well start with the biggest purchases. Within the first hour, you've bought a mansion in Beverly Hills, a luxury penthouse in New York, and a beachfront villa in Dubai. You've never spent money this fast. The real estate agents can't believe it. Most people spend months choosing a house. You buy 3 before lunch. Feeling confident, you check your bank account. Surely you've spent a fortune, but the balance barely changes. That's when reality hits. $1 trillion is so much that even the world's most expensive homes barely make a dent. You need to stop thinking like a millionaire. Even billionaires don't spend money on this scale. Your next stop is a luxury car dealership. Instead of choosing one car, you ask, "How much for every car you have?" The salesman laughs, thinking you're joking. 5 minutes later, he's calling his manager because you're completely serious. Hundreds of supercars are loaded onto transport trucks. Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Bugattis, McLarens, they're all yours. Without slowing down, you buy several private jets. Then you order helicopters for every major city you'll visit this week. The spending starts feeling exciting. Everywhere you go, people clap, cheer, and stare as another impossible purchase is announced. Next come the yachts. Not one, not two. You buy an entire fleet of floating palaces worth billions. For a moment, you truly believe you're making progress. Nobody in history has ever spent money this fast. Then you open your banking app again, and your smile disappears. Despite everything you've bought, you've spent less than 1% of your fortune. The number on your screen is almost unchanged. You suddenly realize this challenge was never about having money. It's about finding enough things expensive enough to buy. The countdown keeps moving. 6 days and 12 hours remain, and you've barely scratched the surface. You stop looking for expensive products. From now on, you'll buy entire businesses instead. Before leaving the dealership, you look back at the endless rows of luxury cars. Just hours ago, owning one would have felt like a dream. Now they're almost meaningless. With $1 trillion, even the rarest cars suddenly feel cheap. Your phone won't stop buzzing. News reporters are already talking about the mysterious buyer spending billions in one day. People online are trying to figure out who you are. Some think you're the richest person alive. Others think it's all fake. You ignore all of it. None of that matters. The only thing that matters is making that impossible number smaller. As the sun sets on the first day, you finally understand the real challenge. Buying expensive things isn't difficult, but spending $1 trillion might actually be impossible. Chapter 2. Buying the World. You quickly realize luxury items are a waste of time. From now on, you're only interested in buying things worth billions. Your first call is to one of the world's biggest hotel companies. Instead of booking a room, you offer to buy every hotel they own. The executives think it's a joke. 10 minutes later, your lawyers prove you actually have $1 trillion. Within hours, the deal is complete. Thousands of hotels around the world now belong to you. But you don't stop there. Next, you start buying shopping malls, office towers, and luxury resorts across the globe. Every purchase is bigger than the last. You're no longer buying buildings, you're buying entire businesses. The financial world is in shock. Stock markets move every time your name appears in the news. Television channels interrupt live broadcasts just to report your latest purchase. The whole world is watching. Social media explodes with theories. Some think you're secretly running the planet. Others believe you've won the world's biggest lottery. Meanwhile, you don't even have time to read the news. You're already planning your next billion-dollar purchase. You decide to buy an entire professional football club, then another, and another. Within one afternoon, you're suddenly the owner of multiple famous sports teams around the world. Fans can't believe what's happening. Every sports channel is talking about the mysterious billionaire buying their favorite clubs. But compared to $1 trillion, even sports teams are surprisingly cheap, so you move on again. Movie studios, streaming services, and television networks are next on your list. Contracts are signed so quickly that your lawyers can barely keep up. Every hour costs billions. Then someone gives you a crazy idea. Instead of buying companies, why not buy entire islands? Within minutes, you're looking at private islands in the Caribbean, the Pacific, and the Mediterranean. Some owners immediately accept your offer. Others refuse, no matter how much money you offer. That's when you discover something unexpected. Money can buy almost everything, but not everything. You continue buying whatever you can. Ports, airports, factories, and shipping companies all become part of your growing empire. Thousands of employees suddenly work for you without ever meeting you. Your business empire becomes larger than some countries. World leaders begin requesting emergency meetings. Nobody knows what your next move will be. Economists warn that your spending could reshape the global economy. Even governments are starting to get nervous. Despite everything you've bought, your banking app still shows hundreds of billions remaining. For the first time, you stop and stare at the number. It feels like the money is disappearing slower than time itself. Only 4 days remain. The challenge that once sounded exciting is becoming terrifying. You realize spending money isn't the hardest part. Finding enough things to buy is. As another deal is finalized, your phone lights up with dozens of missed calls from presidents, CEOs, and billionaires. You take a deep breath before answering the next call. On the other end is someone with an offer that could change everything. Chapter 3. The world starts fighting back. Just as you're about to buy another billion-dollar company, your phone rings. This time, it's not a CEO or billionaire. It's the President of the United States requesting an emergency meeting. World leaders have been watching your spending for days. Nobody knows where your money came from, and everyone fears what you'll buy next. Every major news channel stops its normal programming. Millions of people around the world are now watching your story unfold live. Stock markets react almost instantly to your purchases. Every company you buy moves billions across the global economy. Banks begin delaying your transactions, worried your spending could destabilize the financial system. Every delay costs valuable time. You don't have time to wait anymore. So you start offering double the asking price to anyone willing to sell immediately. Some companies accept within minutes, others refuse no matter how much money you offer. For the first time, you realize not everything has a price. Some people simply refuse to sell what they love. Every rejection frustrates you even more. You're no longer trying to become richer, you're desperately trying to become poorer. The countdown reaches the halfway point. 3.5 days remain and you've barely made a dent in your impossible fortune. Your advisors tell you to stop thinking like a customer. If you want to spend $1 trillion, you need to think like an entire country. You immediately begin funding massive infrastructure projects. Highways, bridges, and rail networks are approved within hours. Construction companies receive contracts larger than anything they've ever seen. Thousands of workers are hired overnight. Entire cities become giant construction sites. Cranes fill the skylines as your money transforms the world. People call it the biggest economic event in human history. Nobody has ever spent money on this scale. Ironically, your impossible challenge creates millions of new jobs. Economists call it the fastest economic boom ever recorded. Despite spending unbelievable amounts, your banking app still shows hundreds of billions remaining. The number barely moves. You stare at the screen in disbelief. Somehow, the clock is moving much faster than your balance is shrinking. For the first time since this challenge began, you wonder if someone designed this game so nobody could ever win. But giving up isn't an option. If you fail now, everything you've built over the last few days will disappear forever. You decide it's finally time to think beyond Earth. If there's nowhere left to spend your money here, maybe space is the answer. You call multiple aerospace companies and offer to fund dozens of future rocket launches. Engineers can hardly believe it. Factories begin expanding almost immediately. New launch pads, research centers, and testing facilities are approved within hours. Scientists who waited years for funding suddenly have unlimited resources. Impossible projects become reality. The entire world watches as your spending pushes technology decades into the future. Even experts struggle to keep up. Then another terrifying realization hits you. Most of these projects take years to complete, but you only have days left. You don't need the projects finished. You only need the money to leave your account before the timer reaches zero. Lawyers work through the night to finalize hundreds of billion-dollar contracts. Every signature gives you a little more hope. As another massive payment leaves your account, you finally smile. Then you check your balance, and the smile quickly disappears. You still have an unbelievable amount of money left, With only 3 days remaining, you're running out of ideas almost as fast as you're running out of time. Chapter 4. The final 48 hours. The countdown drops below 48 hours. For the first time, the clock feels faster than your thoughts. You haven't slept in almost 2 days. Coffee has replaced sleep, and every minute is spent searching for something, anything, expensive enough to buy. Your advisors cover entire walls with ideas. Every country, company, and billionaire willing to sell is written down. Then someone points to one name, a company so valuable that buying it could remove hundreds of billions from your account. Without wasting a second, you make the call. If this deal works, it could change everything. Hours pass without an answer. Every minute feels like an hour as you wait. Finally, the phone rings. They agree to negotiate, but the paperwork will take longer than you have. You immediately offer billions extra if they can finish today. Suddenly, everyone works as fast as humanly possible. Lawyers, bankers, and executives stay awake all night. The largest business deal in history is happening before the world's eyes. When the final contract is signed, you quickly check your balance. The number finally drops, but nowhere near enough. Only 1 day remains. You've spent more money than every billionaire in history combined, yet hundreds of billions still remain. You stop caring about smart decisions. Every purchase is now just a race against the clock. Entire shipping fleets, mining companies, and energy corporations become yours within hours. Nobody even has time to celebrate. News reporters describe it as the greatest spending spree ever witnessed. Even experts never imagined anything like it. Every notification is another completed transaction. Billions disappear every few seconds, but the countdown moves even faster. Your advisors calculate the numbers one last time. Even if everything goes perfectly, you'll still have an impossible amount left. Silence fills the room. Nobody knows what to say because everyone is thinking the same thing. You might actually lose. For the first time since receiving the $1 trillion, you stop making phone calls. You simply stare at the balance, wondering if this was ever possible. Then, out of nowhere, one of your youngest advisors quietly raises a hand. He has one final idea. At first, everyone laughs. The idea sounds completely insane, even for someone trying to spend $1 trillion. But the more you think about it, the more it starts making sense. It might be your only chance. Without another word, you grab your jacket and leave the room. Every second matters now. Your entire team rushes after you. Nobody knows if the plan will work, but it's the only option left. As helicopters lift into the air, cameras from around the world begin following your convoy. Everyone wants to witness the final hours. Social media completely explodes. Millions of people are counting down the final day with you. Some believe you're about to do the impossible. Others are convinced you've already lost. You ignore every headline, camera, and notification. Right now, nothing matters except one number on your phone. The countdown drops below 12 hours remaining. Time has almost completely run out. You take one deep breath before putting your final plan into action. If this doesn't work, everything you've built over the last 7 days will disappear forever. Chapter 5. The Final Hours. With less than 12 hours remaining, your final plan begins. If it fails, every purchase you've made over the last week will disappear forever. Instead of buying more luxury, you begin making the biggest purchases in human history. Entire global infrastructure projects are approved within minutes. Governments, corporations, and banks work together for the first time. Everyone realizes they're witnessing history. Hundreds of billions begin leaving your account faster than ever before. For the first time, your balance starts dropping at an unbelievable speed. You check your phone every few minutes. The number is finally shrinking, but it's still nowhere near zero. 6 hours remain. Your team calculates every remaining dollar, searching for the fastest way to spend it all. One advisor notices something terrifying. Several of your biggest transactions are still marked as pending. If those payments aren't completed before the countdown ends, they won't count. Suddenly, everything depends on the banks processing them in time. You begin calling every CEO, banker, and lawyer involved. Nobody leaves their desk. Every contract becomes a worldwide emergency. The countdown reaches 3 hours remaining. Millions of people around the world are now watching your final attempt live. One by one, the pending payments begin turning green. Billions disappear from your account every few seconds. Your balance finally drops below $100 billion. It's the closest you've ever been to completing the challenge. The room erupts in celebration, but you quickly stop everyone. The hardest part is still ahead. With less than an hour remaining, there are still tens of billions left. The pressure becomes unbearable. Then another notification appears. One of your biggest purchases has just been canceled. Billions suddenly return to your account. The room falls completely silent as everyone stares at the screen. Without wasting a second, you redirect the money into emergency purchases. Every remaining contract is signed instantly. 30 minutes remain. Nobody says a word anymore. Every eye is locked on the countdown. 10 minutes remain. Your account shows only a few $1 billion left. Then, just seconds later, it drops below 1 billion for the first time. 5 minutes remain. Every payment is processing at once, and nobody knows if they'll finish in time. Your phone freezes for a moment. The banking app refuses to load, and your heart nearly stops. After what feels like forever, the screen finally refreshes. Only a few $1 million remain. You spend the final millions within seconds, buying the last available assets your team can find. 1 minute remains. Every transaction now depends on the banking system updating in time. The countdown reaches 10 seconds. The entire world counts down with you. 3, 2, 1. The timer reaches 0. For a few terrifying seconds, nothing happens. Then your banking app refreshes one last time. Your balance reads exactly $0. Against all odds, you actually did it. But after 7 days of unlimited money, you realize something unexpected. Having everything in the world was never as satisfying as the challenge itself.